So ADA's now tapped into this range that I set out previously, where I mentioned that this region is going to be key in determining if whether or not we are bullish or bearish. So if ADA was to exceed this region, then this region here between 70 cents to 72 cents will be one to be keeping an eye on. And if we were to get rejected within this region, then this region here between 52 cents to 55 cents will be one to be keeping an eye on. And as it stands right now, we have seen this surge to the upside where we almost retested the 200 DMA. So if I bring in the fib tool and bring this down to 63.87 cents, so you can see that we ended up exceeding the 1.236 level. And so for us to be bullish, what we need is for ADA to continue to move to the upside and retrace towards the 1.600 level at 65.61 cents. That will then trigger a 5-minute switcher. And so this move to the upside could be the wave 1, this would be the wave 2, and then the wave 3 as a minimum requirement will have to reach the 1.600 level. And then we see a retracement followed by another push to the upside to then complete that fifth wave. And if we end up getting rejected at 65.34 cents, all that would mean is that this move to the upside is just a correction and we could see a further push to the downside. And so in essence, it's possible that this move here could be the W wave, this could be the X wave, and this would be the Y wave. Now the X wave would typically reach anywhere between 50 to 88.2% of the W wave. And you can see that the 88.2% retracement level sits at 65.19 cents, which we ended up exceeding. And so I am looking out for a potential 5-wave structure to play out as opposed to a double X fast structure to the downside. And at the moment, we do have the red candlestick, but I do see this as just being a correction. And we can see that further push to the upside to complete the wave 3. So if I drop down to the 5-minute chart and check to see what has taken place over here. So if I bring in the fib tool and bring this down to 63.45 cents. And on this move to the upside, we ended up exceeding the 1.236 level, but we failed to retrace towards the 1.600 level. And so in essence, we had a 3-wave move as opposed to a 5-wave move, where this was a double wave, this is X wave, and this is Y wave, and then we had this correction. And now we have this move to the upside that's playing out right now. And so I'm looking out for a bigger double X fast structure to play out like so, where this Y wave could then be made up of 5 waves. So if I bring in the fib tool and bring this down to 63.66 cents. And so short term, next key target to be keeping an eye on will be this region between 65 cents or 65.98 cents to 66.54 cents. And then from there, it'll be interesting to see what happens next, because what we could have forming is a potential bigger WXY structure to the upside where we can then tap into this range, or we could get rejected within this region and see that push to the downside where we could have a bigger WXY structure form like so, and then the Y wave could then tap into this range. And so, yeah, it will be key for ADA to continue to find support within this region in order for us to be bullish. However, if we get rejected, then we could see that push to the downside where we breach below the local low at 59.23 cents and then tap into this range here. And if I go back to the hourly chart, you can see that the bulls still have the momentum. And so I'm looking at for the price of ADA to continue to move to the upside where we can tap into this range. We could even wick above the 200 DMA and then get rejected. But of course, only time will tell really. And on the 4-hour chart, we have reached the 80 level on the stochastic RSI. And so we are within overbought conditions. But I'm looking out for the bulls to continue to drive the price of ADA up towards high highs. And yeah, you can also see that we almost retested the 50 EMA at 65.54 cents. On the 8-hour chart, the bulls still have the momentum, and on the daily chart, the same can be said. And so it's possible that over the weekend, we could be bullish. But again, what we need for us to be even more bullish is for the price of ADA to exceed this region and then tap into this range here. However, we could potentially get rejected and see that further push to the downside play out over the week. But of course, that's something I'm going to be tracking in the days and weeks to come, and I'll keep you guys updated. So yeah, that's just my update on Cardano ADA. Hopefully you found it useful, and if you did, then feel free to hit the like button, and if you're new, feel free to subscribe. Take it easy, people. Peace.